I don't need to tell you about the deadly spike in gang-related violence on the Cape Flats in recent months. I don't need to tell you, I think, about several fatal shootings happening in and around our courts. Obviously, an incredibly gravely concerning situation. And this week it has brought the leaders of the National Security Cluster to Cape Town to engage with the affected communities. The delegation includes the Minister of Police, Professor Firoz Kachalia, the Deputy Minister of Police, Dr. Polly Boshielo, as well as our Deputy Minister for Justice and Constitutional Development, Andries, who is with us on the line this morning, and we thank you for your time. Welcome to Good Morning Cape Town.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
You've been meeting with communities in Fulani and Mitchell's Plain. What have they been telling you about the spectre of gang violence and how it impacts their daily lives?
Thank you very much. Regrettably, a very good question, and I answer it from three angles. Firstly, as a member of parliament whose constituency office is in Mitchell's Plain.
Okay.
Secondly, as a district development model champion for the city of Cape Town, appointed by the president. And thirdly, as Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. Maybe just to take a step back and say that I visited the Athlone Magistrates Court on Monday, together with Judge President Mabindla Bokwana, the Judge President of the Western Cape, at the request of the Minister of Justice and the Chief Justice. Because we've had those shooting incidents in and at our courts, which we view very, very seriously. Because if our courts are not viewed as places of safety where citizens can exercise their rights, as a constitutional democracy, we are in serious trouble. Secondly, our courts exist. They're not islands. They exist in the societies that are affected by this gang violence. So for that reason, it was also important for us, together with the Minister and the Deputy Minister of Police, to be on the ground, interacting with communities, getting ideas, assessing the situation. And I think what emerged out of those discussions is very, very clear. Firstly, community was clear we've got to address the underlying socioeconomic challenges, and those include unemployment. It includes providing skills and opportunities for young people. It involves access to recreational facilities, sporting facilities for young people, and safeguarding the schools in those communities to help insulate them from gang activities and the drive to recruit people into gangs. Mm-hmm. There was also a very loud cry from the community to deploy the army, but not the army of soldiers, an army of social workers, to come and help attend to the underlying social problems which give rise to gang activity. At the courts, and regrettably, and it just underlines the need for very close integration and cooperation within the Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster, because what we're seeing is that those gangs in the community have an inextricable link with the gangs in our correctional facilities. Those correctional facilities have, in a sense, become fortresses of organized crime. They've become command centers of gang activity. There's smuggling in and out of the correctional facilities, sometimes messages indicating who must be hit and taken out are coming out of those prisons. And unfortunately, our courts are being trapped in the middle of all of that because they are being used as the point for those gangs, sometimes under completely false pretexts, to appear in court, to go to holding cells, where they both receive contraband to take back to prison, but they also bring things out and issue instructions through that. So, what we were proposing both at the court and in the community in respect of our courts was, firstly, we've got to intensify visible policing in and around the courts. Judge President Bokwana and I are discussing that with the Minister of Police later this afternoon. Secondly, an enhanced partnership with the police. Thirdly, for us as justice, to make greater use of innovative technology like video links between our courts and our correctional facilities to obviate the need physically to transport awaiting trial prisoners. Also to upgrade the infrastructure and the equipment at our courts, which we've already started doing following that terrible incident in Wynberg earlier this year. We've replaced the defective metal detectors, and we're very happy. Well, we're both very happy and very sad to have to announce that on the same day that we were visiting in Athlone, our security personnel detected someone trying to smuggle a firearm into the Wynberg court. But it was that firearm has been confiscated and the person has been arrested. But lastly, just to also instill a culture of integrity and discipline in our courts, and those who work in those courts, who sometimes regrettably are also complicit in these activities.
That's the million-dollar question I wanted to ask you, because you talk about the gangs using the prison system as a headquarters for their organized crime. You talk about the abuse of, for example, court delays and postponements as an opportunity to pass contraband, etc. That doesn't happen in a vacuum. That obviously suggests that there is some degree of collusion and corruption from people who are prepared to turn a blind eye to that.
No, indeed. I mean, in the interaction that the Judge President and other members of the judiciary and I had with all of those officials who work in our courts, and that goes from cleaners to court orderlies, clerks, the legal aid attorneys, the prosecutors. We met with all of them because we also felt that it was our duty to engage with them after a very, very traumatic experience that they went through, to reassure them of our support, but also to hear from them firsthand their assessment of the situation and their proposals. And they were flagging very, very openly and honestly to say there are rotten apples amongst us, and we know who they are. And they were pointing especially to those who have the most direct contact with those in the holding cells, cleaners, court orderlies, and others. And that's what we need to move in on, identify those and deal with them.
Deputy Minister, yes, deal with officials in the chain, but what about the suggestion that it is literally top-level collusion? I mean, we have had a court judgment suggesting links between top management structures of the SAPS with gang leadership in this province. We've known that for couple of years now already. Why are we not seeing more movement in terms of investigating that level of collusion and corruption?
That is what we will also be engaging with the Ministry of Police around this afternoon, is how to clean that out. And also, I think it's public knowledge that there's a judicial commission of inquiry headed by Justice Madlanga, who's looking into the higher level organized links between gangs and senior officials in the police.
Just in closing, Deputy Minister, where to from here? A meeting this afternoon to discuss all of these things. I mean, the bottom line for community members is that if they don't see the courts in particular as a safe place, there is such the ramifications that are so widespread in terms of the ability to convince people to come forward, be whistleblowers, be prepared to testify in cases that do make it to court. It's tough enough already to get that right without then having the added pressure of somebody saying, well, I would be prepared to do it, but I'm too scared that I'm going to be shot when I arrive at court to testify. What is your message to ordinary citizens who are living right now with that fear, who want to do the right thing, who want to help be part of the solution, but aren't prepared to put their lives at risk?
Our message is loud and clear that we view this as an attack on the very essence of our constitutional democracy, which is premised, amongst others, on having a strong, independent judiciary. Two, it's our duty in terms of the Constitution to render all support to the judiciary. That is what we're doing, and that's why we wasted no time between that incident happening and being on the ground with the leadership of the judiciary and facilitating this afternoon's meeting with the Minister of Police. It's not just a question of meeting for the sake of meeting. We're going there with very, very concrete proposals, amongst others those that were raised by the community and those working in courts, around greater visible policing in and around the courts, the possibility of having mobile police stations there, the possibility of having a dedicated court protection unit in the police.
Deputy Minister Andries, thank you for your time this morning. Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. We will eagerly await feedback and report back after that meeting this afternoon.